Heaven's California.
Yo guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be discussing, as you can tell by the video title, let me just ramp up the tripod quickly. Let's check that, if that's good. Yeah, cool. So, what we're going to be discussing today is, again, another football related topic, and it's the transformation of going from football clubs from a sport to a business. Football at the moment, as you may or may not know, for football fans, it's becoming very much financially run. Whatever football club has the most money is going to be more successful. I mean, this year hasn't been so successful, seeing as Manchester United did bring in the most expensive player in the world as of today, and has failed to finish in top 4 qualification. But again, football is becoming more of a business. Now, obviously, as a Manchester United fan, I have to try and link this to Manchester United in some sort of way. And the only way I can think about doing this is, obviously, thinking about the 3-4 years now. The players we've been buying for the amount of money haven't exactly been top team quality. Obviously, Louis van Gaal, Angel Di Maria, David Moyes. The most he could bring in was freaking... he did bring us Juan Mata, I believe, and he also gave us Marouane Fellaini, who has cost us a numerous amount of games. But the one player I really want to focus in on today, transfer-wise, because this is going to be based on transfers, is football now more to do with money? I'm going to take Wayne Rooney as an example. Wayne Rooney, professional football player, and I don't think he's been exactly earning the respect that he deserves, really, as a football player, because, don't get me wrong, okay, Wayne Rooney, top goal scorer for his club and country. Not many players can say that. I mean, obviously you got probably Messi and Ronaldo that can do that. But Wayne Rooney, again, is one of the best football players in 2000s that this country has produced. Statistically, obviously not so much for England as much as we've had an England team that's capable of winning trophies, but we've never as yet done it. We've had great individual talents, but they can never quite gel together as a team. But Wayne Rooney at the moment, obviously the transfer saga is, will he stay, will he go to America, will he go to China, will he go to Everton? Just for fuck's sake, let the guy play. He's earned the respect in the club to make a decision when he wants to go. For me personally, I think the manager is kind of behind this as well. Look, if you want to go, you can go. He wants game time. We can see that Wayne Rooney is not going to be improving anytime soon. He's done his time at the club, and he isn't going to get any better. He's not getting any younger. And it kind of reminds me of a game you have, like a game that's a couple of years old. You had it like 10 years ago. And whether it's a video game, a board game, whatever, you get it out once in a while and you go, God damn, this game is fucking awesome. But then you're like, it's got no potential for the future, so do I hold on to it or do I just sell it for all time's sake? That's kind of like Wayne Rooney. He's enjoyable, he's valuable to the club, but will he end up staying this year? I don't know. Obviously, you got the transfer saga of Ibrahimovic, but then I'm going to be focusing on today's video, which is transfer money targets. Now, transfer targets this season are predicted to be the highest ever. People are predicting that we're going to see Paul Pogba's transfer cost go above that. There's going to be someone who's going to break that. Because I was, Full-Time Devils and United fans, go and check them out, go and drop them a sub. I was listening to their transfer lists, what was being in the papers today, last night when they got released, and one of the players was Romelu Lukaku. Now, Romelu Lukaku has been linked with Manchester United for a couple of months now, seeing as he's saying he's moved on past Everton and he wants to never change. Personally, for me, Lukaku is a great striker, but has he got it to play at a top level, in a top 6 club, at a high level, and play in the Champions League? We've only seen him boss it at Everton. Everton have not relied on Romelu Lukaku this season. He scored a lot of goals, but they still finished 7th, regardless of whether they had his goals this season or not. So is Romelu Lukaku worth the money? Well, the money Everton are asking for at the moment is an extortionate £80 million. £80 million, and Manchester United are in for him. I think City were there as well. as well as Chelsea. It now looks like Romelu Lukaku is going to go from one blue team to the other. It looks like he's going to move on to Chelsea. Do I think Manchester United should have snapped him up? Probably not, because I think there's better players out there who have proven themselves in the Champions League level to do that. And for me, we're making the same mistakes Manchester United targets every single year. We're bringing in players from inside of Europe. Now, European competition is obviously important for a football club, but the way the Premier League works is a lot different to Italian League, French League, German League and Spanish League. French League, you've got a couple of good teams. All the rest are going to be walked. Spanish League, you've got 3 or 4 competitive teams. All the rest are going to be walking over you. German League, you have 2 good teams. When them 2 teams face the other teams, you have no reason to not expect to win. Obviously, this year you've had Salzburg, I believe, that did finish quite high in the table. We're in first place for a long time, but then Bayern Munich obviously ramped up a gear and got that league title 5 times in a row. Italy, they've got a couple of good teams, not competitive anymore. The Premier League, I don't care what anyone says, the Premier League is the most competitive league in the world. And adjusting to the Premier League is so different to the other European leagues. Premier League, they don't have a Christmas break. You have to play through Christmas. You have to play the day after Christmas. You can't be going out Christmas and getting leathered and having a good time. You have to be ready, prepared for that next game. And players seem to take a good 6 months plus, 6 months minimum to settle in. And I feel that's where Manchester United flopped this season. We just had too many draws, too many players that took too long to adjust. Mkhitaryan only came out of his shell towards the latter half of the season. Same as Paul Pogba, he didn't turn up for the big games either, because he's too used to playing in shallower games in Italy. Bailly, again, he's a defender, so it works a little bit differently. His job is different to a midfielder and an attacker. He was probably the most impressive signing this season for me. Ibrahimovic, he's just the guy is unbelievable. His work rate, his work ethic for that age, 36 now I believe he is. He says he can probably play on to his 40s, and I can personally see it. He's recovered so well from that leg injury. Is he going to be staying at United next season? We don't know. We'll have to find out. But another player linked to Manchester United is Alvaro Morata. Now, Morata, he hasn't had as many opportunities in the Juventus team he had more opportunities in the Juventus team compared to Real Madrid. He scored goals for both teams. He's looked good. Is it a signing I'd like to see Manchester United go for? Yes, I think that there was a rumour with Mbappe. Obviously, Real Madrid think it was bidding something ridiculous, 128 million for him. For an 18-year-old, I think that's an extortionate amount of money. You can see where I'm getting from. Football is becoming a business. It's no longer just whoever plays the best football out there. So whoever's got the best resources, whoever can get the best players, whoever can get the best transfers and stuff is probably going to be in a stronger position. Leicester last year, I don't know how they pulled it off. They worked incredibly well as a team. And it was obviously the ringleader was Kante, who just pulled it and put that final piece in the puzzle, as he did for Chelsea this season, that made them so incredibly strong. But 128 million for an 18-year-old player is a fucking extortionate amount of money. And I know Manchester United have the funds, they have millions, hundreds of millions in fact, but I don't think he's worth it. And it looks like Real Madrid are going to be there. It's rumoured that Arsenal, Chelsea, City are all in for him. But again, I can see him going Real Madrid. They're the best team in the world right now for me personally. And the strongest team definitely. And I can see them definitely attracting a lot of the young players. Because who wouldn't want to go and play for Real Madrid, right? I think English football has lost its touch. And the reason why the other big European clubs have that pulling power is their success in recent years in Champions League success. Manchester United haven't won a Champions League in nearly 10 years. 10 years. 2008 season was the last time we won a Champions League. The last season, I believe, we had Ronaldo. So he won a Champions League with us then. And it was we haven't had much success in the Champions League since then. We got to final 1 year, I think, Manchester United did. Chelsea have obviously won the Champions League, I believe, and the Europa League. So, but other than that, the English Football League in the last couple of years especially have severely struggled in the European competition. This year, Leicester City being the only English football team to get into a European, the Champions League quarterfinals with, Manchester United obviously winning the Europa League. But moving back on to Morata, Manchester United have accordingly made a £52 million bid that has been rejected. Real Madrid stating that they want a huge £78 million. That's only £2 million cheaper than Lukaku. Now, I think it would be worth it because we have, at Manchester United, we have players that are young and we have players that are fast. Not Mkhitaryan. Rashford, we have Lingard, we have Martial. But Martial and Rashford are the only two strikers we have, centre forwards, that can play at that type of pace. Morata doesn't have that to his game. He brings something else. He's more of a threat in and around the box. He can smash a shot in. And I think he'd be a great signing for United. But again, the extortionate amount of money this year is going to be absolutely ridiculous. And this is where I can see teams like Arsenal and Tottenham in particular, Tottenham more likely, struggling the most. Because at the top 6 teams in the Premier League, they have the least amount of money stacked away in the club. Arsenal probably lower down that list as well. I'd say the Manchester clubs probably have the most, then Chelsea, then Liverpool, then Arsenal, and then Tottenham. Arsenal probably have more money than they let on, but again, the boards and stuff probably aren't going to want to spend all that money, free it up. Kroenke, being the greedy bastard he is, I don't think he's a very good club director, and I think he probably should sell his shares and set up. The other shareholder wanted to buy his shares off for like £1 billion or something, and Kroenke said no, he's not willing to share, but I'm pretty sure his son bought like 750, like something extortionate amount of land over in America. So I don't know, but that's kind of all I wanted to touch on today, just how extortionate football is getting. I'd really like to say that we're moving away from finances, but I can just see it getting worse. 5 years' time, to get a decent player now, you're looking over 50, 60 million. Manchester City nearly hitting that mark with Bernardo Silva. They're paying £35 million for a Benfica goalkeeper. Yes, Benfica won the domestic double this season, but god damn it, that's so much money, man, just for a goalkeeper. And I can see Manchester United having to make some massive moves this season. Will Wayne Rooney stay? I don't know. I think we need someone in both positions. Will DDG move away? Real Madrid, him and Ramos. Ramos has said that he'd like to see Navas stay. Zidane has said he'd like to see Navas stay. But will Zidane go back on his word and set a transfer for David De Gea? Apparently we rejected something for David De Gea. I think we're looking like David De Gea is one of the best, if not the best goalkeeper in the Premier League or in the world right now. Probably him, Neuer and Courtois, the 3 best goalkeepers in the world. And would we be looking to sell him? I mean, not really, but if David De Gea wants to move and his buyout clause is met, I'm not sure if he has a buyout clause, I'd probably be looking at 70, 80 million for that goalkeeper. Whatever team he'd join, he'd be a massive asset, and maybe we can try and attach. We were going to get Navas last season if David De Gea was to go. We did very nearly lose him, but the paperwork was missing in the final hours of the transfer, so the transfer didn't go through. Would Romero step up? Will we still see Romero at the club? I don't know. Will we still see Smalling? He's rumoured to go away. I think Smalling's maybe a little bit old now. Obviously, Rio and Nemanja stayed into the club well into their 30s. But the defence hasn't really impressed me too much this season at United, really. And I think we do need another centre-half. Obviously, you've got Phil Jones and Rojo at the moment. Phil Jones is just injury-prone in general. Smalling's always out injured. Rojo's out injured. There's a lot of players out injured at the moment, and we do have to make sure that we're getting enough players in, because we've got Champions League football now. That's a higher competition. That's a lot bigger teams than the Europa League, and you can't afford to be shoving out your crappy team in the Champions League, I'm afraid, when you're playing your Barcelonas, your Reals, your Dortmunds, your Juve, your PSG, your Barcelona, your Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid. Even the English teams, it's just not good enough, and we need to make sure we have enough squad depth. I think personally, Manchester United do need to sign a player that's played in the Premier League already, proved that they can play in the Premier League. Obviously, it's going to be a heck of a lot more money, but I think that's what we're missing. With a no spine this season, we bottled so many matches. I think that's what we need. Will we see it happen? Will Jose get some transfers going through? Definitely. I think Jose will make 2, 3, 4 signings this season, probably 3 minimum, but we'll see. Will we see any players going out? I'll probably have to see about that. I'll probably do another one of these Manchester United transfer talks later down the line, probably a couple of weeks or so, because I like to just talk about Manchester United. Next season I will be doing most of the games as a football review. I'm going to be a lot more committed this time around. Obviously, I not only with YouTube, I'm starting to stream on Twitch now. If you don't know what my Twitch is, it's twitch.tv / David_Gooden16. Just streaming Grand Theft Auto, talking to a couple of you guys. And Twitch is a great way, if you want to talk to me more directly, then it's a great way for you to contact me, talk to me, find out a little more about me, and for me to find out a little more about yourselves. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy, remember to smash that like button, comment, subscribe, and share as well. Hopefully you all enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.